1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10.
And so I know your title, but could you please repeat your title for everybody else?
Yep. I'm Clayton Cheever, the director of the Morrill Memorial Library. One of my a common toy growing up was flip charts and markers. So in some ways, I've been doing local government and community since like forever. I came here to Norwood from the city of Quincy, where I was the assistant director. And before that, I was in Boston, working for the city of Boston. I had a couple different positions. I left as a project manager and part of the administration for the Boston Public Library. And I worked for the town of Watertown before that. So I've been in some form of government for some time. But it really comes from my commitment to communities and every community that I'm in. I really think it's incredible when we think about what we can do when we work together and inspired by the whole that's greater than the sum of the parts. So that's in a short, short summary how I got to be here. My libraries? Because libraries are how we share things, because I love stories, because you come to a library as a great equalizer. It's been called the People's University. It's also where whatever you're interested in, there's a great, so many avenues to go and explore and learn new things. There's always that joy of discovery in libraries. There's so many reasons that I'm in libraries and in public libraries. But it really all boils down to that love of people, the love of stories, and the joy of doing things together. The most important people in my life, it's really simple. My wife is amazing, my best friend. We've been married for a long time now. Sometimes it's amazing when we look back and think of how young we were. And we don't seem to have aged, at least us, but then we look at our kids. I have a 19-year-old and a 16-year-old, and it's my family is definitely the most important people to me. I could not do everything I do, would not have the life I live without the people closest to me. We have a great circle of friends, other family in the area too, that are incredibly inspiring, and I could, shoot, all of them could take a stage and spend a lot more time talking with you, Erin, than I would ever, and it would be probably a lot more interesting to a lot of people than me talking. I've had the opportunity to meet a U.S. president when my father-in-law got an award, and we went to the White House. There's a whole story there about that experience. There's been movies and stories. My mother-in-law is in a book that was on Obama's list. She's a main character in a nonfiction book that was on Obama's must-read list from last year. My mother was an incredible leader and professor in the community in Colorado. My father is very inspiring. There's just so many amazing people. So family is really dear to me. So if I'm going to brag, that's where I'm going to go. And I have some really dear friends who make, it's, when we're thinking about what makes life, significant, it's when we get time with our family and with our friends, the family that we're born into and the family that we choose. And that's really what the core of everything that I do. As I told you how I love stories and how I love libraries, it's because that's how we get to know each other, we build empathy, and oftentimes that stranger is just a friend I haven't met yet. So that potential for enriching our own lives and each other's is made real when we deal with family and friends. I'm sure this will surprise you a lot. I like to read. I like to, right? I like to read, I like to play music, I like to listen to music. I like spending time outside. I like to cook. I've got some good friends that I brew beer with on a regular basis, and so that's fun to brew and enjoy responsibly, of course. Some bubbly, hops and barley put together. I went apple picking with my daughter recently, and that was a lot of fun. Love riding my bike, love going kayaking. Looking forward to winter. I actually like it when it snows and being in a place where we get winter, because it means that the slopes become open and we can go and spend some time playing, either carving on a snowboard going downhill, or snowshoeing, or even just going for a nice walk, going ice skating. there's so many ways to enjoy our time outside, and we can hunker down and complain about it, or we can just get out and enjoy it. I don't think I would have listened much to any advice. Being open to advice is a hard thing to be. But I think I got some really good advice 15, 20 years ago, which was don't rush. I remember before I got married, a good friend who'd gotten married before I did said, the day's gonna rush by. Life is gonna rush by, but he was specifically talking about getting married. And he said, make sure you take time and don't walk down the aisle too quickly. Take it and just try to be present and enjoy every step as you go. That was awesome advice, because it's true, that day does fly by. So many experiences, like we spend so much time preparing for them, and then there are these great experiences, and then they're over and we're looking at pictures. But how do we get time to actually be in the moment? And that's by making sure we take time, create space, and appreciate the space where it exists. I don't know. A bunch of folks may not know that I've mentioned that I love music. I grew up playing piano, and I can sight read, so I can sit down at a piano and play a fair amount. And before my son was born, which is almost a couple decades ago now, I was studying guitar pretty seriously with this amazing. He's a musician still. He may actually be coming out here next summer. So I will drop one name. Miguel Espinosa is his name, and he's got a flamenco group. It's Miguel Espinosa's Flamenco Fusion. I think that's what they're going by right now. And we're working on, hopefully I can help him set up some local gigs there. He's based in Denver with his band, and I was studying with Miguel. We became friends as I was studying with him, and he's amazing. So rather than spotlight myself in a talent, I was studying. I need to go back to the shed and play some more. But Miguel should not be hidden. Everybody should know Miguel. First car was a VW bus. Yeah, we called it the pickle bus. That's what I learned to drive on. It was pickle green. First concert was at a rally on the Capitol steps in Denver. It was an anti-nuke rally, and John Denver played. Favorite movie? So I don't go much for favorites, as we've been discussing, but maybe one that I keep coming back to is just a silly movie, Better Off Dead, with John Cusack, is the first that comes to mind. I want my $2. I would say I try to make it the book that I'm currently reading. So the book I'm reading right now that I'm enjoying is Karachi Vice. It's all about Karachi, what life is like in Karachi, which is a city of 20 million people, the capital of Pakistan. It's a fascinating look at everything that's at kind of some of its history, and it's all these different lives happening there. If I step back from the current book I'm reading and has resonated the most over the last few years, Just Mercy by Brian Stevenson is also an amazing book I encourage everybody to read, all about kind of the failures of the criminal justice system in this country. Yeah, I would say hot foods. I have a serious addiction to hot food. So the hotter the better. When I go into a restaurant and they don't know me, I encourage them to try to hurt me, and to, if they can, knock me out of the floor. Being bald, I have a towel. I start sweating profusely if it's seriously hot. Oh, there's a lot more to tell, I'm sure, but I don't need to bore anybody. There's more to explore, and anybody who's interested, we should go out for a cup of coffee or some chili. Can you put them like they're sprouting out of at the top of my head?
Yeah, I don't think you need that.